lot of people say, well, Marcus, is that story true? And that story is true. Hello, Chef Marcus Guiliano here. I'm your chef on a mission. Today's mission is business. For all kinds of business tips, go hit my website, 50mistakes.com, 50mistakes.com. Get on my email list, and I send out a bunch of cool business information. Lots of cool content there, lots of videos. But let's talk business today. Let's talk about your return policy. Everybody's heard of the famous story from Nordstrom's, how they returned a set of tires that they didn't even sell. So a lot of people say, well, Marcus, is that story true? And that story is true. I'm going to give you the background to that story. So 1975, Nordstrom's was expanding up into Alaska. They bought a small chain department store there. I think they had 3 locations, I believe, in the Anchorage area. And the department store they bought sold everything, and indeed was a B.F. Goodrich tire dealer. And that was across the street from the main department store. So when Nordstrom took it over, of course, they got rid of all those things that they didn't, that wasn't in part of their portfolio. And tires were not something they wanted to sell, nor do they sell tires today. Nordstrom's actually started out in 1901 as a shoe store, and they had an amazing return policy. Let's face it, you wear a pair of shoes, and you might not find out for a week later or 2 months later that the shoes just aren't right for you. So what set them apart was they had an impeccable return policy. Bring the shoes back and you get your money back. Plain and simple. Get a new pair of shoes, get your money back. Plain and simple. Nobody else was doing anything like that. So as they grew and expanded to do more things, men's clothing, women's clothing, they had the same exact policy. You need to look good in it. You need to feel good about it. If it's been in your class, you don't like it. If you're wearing it to work, you don't like it, bring it back. We want you to be 100% happy with everything that we sell you. So, a tire story. Did they take tires back? Well, so an old man walks in with a single tire. I believe it was a single tire, and he walks into what used to be the B.F. Goodrich dealer, and now it's Nordstrom's men's department. And the manager saw this going down. So the manager's like, let's see what our young clerk's gonna do. It was a young clerk, I think 25 years old, male clerk in there. And he goes, let's see if he's gonna live up to the Nordstrom quality, the Nordstrom's motto, the Nordstrom culture. So the man walked in and said, this tire does not fit my car. He was a little confused. And the young man said, can I help you? And he said, sure. He goes, I bought this tire here and it doesn't fit my car. The young man said, well, how much did the tire cost? The gentleman goes, I think $25. So the manager, without interfering, witnessed the young clerk open the register, grab $25, hand it to the gentleman, and say, we hope you come back to buy men's clothing. Gave him full refund for that tire. As a subsequent result, they actually took that tire and hung it in the warehouse there, in the storeroom at that Nordstrom, to represent the culture of what the business is. Make it easy for customer returns. So does your business have an easy policy for customer returns? I deal with lots of different vendors. Now, certain vendors are in the restaurant industry, bound by the state. So for example, I can't return liquor after a certain amount of days. I think it's 7 days because New York State dictates that. But certain vendors will say to me, certain sales reps will say to me, Marcus, if you have a bad bottle of wine, if it's corked, I'll replace it. I don't care if it's a year later, a year and a half later, I'll bring you another bottle. We don't run it through, an invoice or whatever, but I'll grab a bottle, sample bottle, we'll bring it and we'll replace it. Just save the bottle for me so I can give it to my boss and show them you had a bad bottle of wine. I know some other vendors, like this summer I had a terrible story. I just made a video on it. Am I wrong for not buying from this vendor? Where I bought a half a bushel of clams, was gladly to pay more for it from the local vendor, but 25% of the clams were cracked and bad and dead, and I took pictures. I sent it to the vendor, and the vendor simply said, well, let me talk to my clam buyer. Let me talk to, the place we bought the clams from. 3 times, 3 calls, an email, pictures. I never got credit for that, so I never bought from them again. Something like that. When I'm sending you a picture, it should be bam, instant credit. But now let's take it to my guests. I have a policy with my restaurant. Every single person on staff has $50 to make a guest happy. So if a guest says, oh, I don't like my dinner, this wasn't what I was expecting, my staff members have $50 to say, I'm going to make it right. Do something. Buy them and get them a drink. Buy them dessert. Get them a new entree. If they've eaten everything and then they said, well, it was a little dry, it was a little overcooked, instantly, can I buy dessert for the whole table? What can I do to make you leave here happy? Is it comp the meal? So I leave it up to my staff to actually gauge the reaction of the guest. If there's a hair in a food, we had a hair in a food the other night, we knew it was the lady who was eating. We 100% knew it was her own hair and matched her own hair. It was, nobody in the kitchen had, it was her hair. All of us said, that's her hair. No questions asked. We took it off the bill. We got our new salad, didn't charge her, and that's the bottom line. What's your return policy? Think about your business and the frustrations that your customers would have, your guests would have. In the restaurant industry, you have guests. You don't have customers or guests because they're coming into your restaurant. So when I can say the term guest, I'm also referring to customers. So make it easy. I know companies that, to return a pound, you'll order $500 worth of produce from them, and one $8 pound of basil's bad, and they're giving you a hard time to get credit or return, or just say, hey, use what you can in the basil, I'll take it off your bill. These are stories for chefs that just say, man, why am I buying from this distributor? Why am I buying from this company? So look at your company, figure it out, make it policy easy, culture, make it part of your culture. I tell my staff all day long, every day, not all day long, but every day, what are we selling here? We're selling a 5-star experience. That's what we're selling, 5-star experiences. And how do you do that? You do it whatever you have to do to make a 5-star experience. Now there's one or two tricks, to do. There's lots of tricks to make somebody have a great experience with your business. You can sell a great product, you can sell a great, whatever. But the main thing is, when you become friends, Nordstrom's is a master at this. When you become friends with the person who's selling you something, there is a bound loyalty that is hard to break. So make sure you connect with your guests, your customers. Make sure you understand. Make sure you know what's going on in their personal life if they're willing to open up to you. That these are all key points to building impeccable customer service. We can go on and on and on about customer service, so I just wanted to make this a little short, brief video and retell the Nordstrom's tire story, because I think it's a great, fantastic story, and good for Nordstrom's. I like shopping there. Their prices are probably more, but you get what you pay for, and customer service goes a long, long way. That 5-star experience goes a long way. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. Thanks for watching. Check out my website, 50mistakes.com. Send me an email if you have any questions. Leave a comment on this if you have a question. I'll be happy to answer. Thanks for watching.